Okay, let's jump right into this explainer and unpack the real campus dining experience at Rashtriya Raksha University, or RRU. Campus food logistics are usually a total mystery, but today we're pulling together the actual independent data to build an honest, in-depth picture of what students are eating every single day. Rather than just relying on one isolated account, we're going deep to uncover the daily culinary reality. We're kicking things off with a sentiment that literally pops up everywhere when you sift through student feedback. It's kind of a fascinating paradox, isn't it? The food is widely considered good, but simultaneously requires a compromise on taste. So this poses a really interesting question. How do you actually define good but average when you're trying to feed 800 different palates? Feeding that many people daily is a monumental task. Today, we're stripping away all that ambiguity to look at the hard logistics, the true costs, and what's actually winding up on the plate. Here is our roadmap for the deep dive today: the positive consensus, the honest caveats, untangling the fee structure, the four-meal reality, and finally, the final verdict. Section 1. The positive consensus and what the data actually agrees on. First up, consider the immense scale of this operation. The mess is catering to somewhere between 700 and 800 students at once. Just think about the kitchen prep required for that for a second. The sheer volume of ingredients and the cooking space needed to push out food for that many people simultaneously multiple times a day, it's an absolute logistical marathon. And yet, the data suggests they're pulling it off remarkably well. Despite this massive volume, reviewers consistently praise the fact that they maintain a rotating multi-cuisine menu with 4 distinct meals a day. Students highlight the adequate portions, the consistent hygiene, and notably that the food quality is reviewed on a weekly basis. That kind of strict quality control is genuinely hard to maintain at this massive scale. It's a hugely impressive operational feat. But hey, context is everything, right? One student specifically benchmarked RIU way above other institutions. We even had a former student producer of ours confirm that the food was genuinely good during their time on campus. So the baseline here is that the university is successfully executing a massive, highly structured dining operation. Moving on to Section 2, the honest caveats, or where the menu falls short. Because we have to be rigorous with our data, we have to look at the other side. Across different platforms and gears, there is this honest undertone: the food is going to fill you up, but it's probably not going to win a Michelin star. One reviewer states plainly, food is kind of average. We have to present this honestly. It's solid sustenance. It's not a gourmet experience. When we weigh the nutritional completeness against the lack of extras, the compromise makes total sense. Institutional kitchens have to prioritize macros, making sure you get your baseline protein and carbs over culinary frills. Daily desserts just aren't standard here. That explains exactly why students feel their nutritional needs are met, even if they miss out on the simple joy of eating something sweet after dinner. Now, what's really fascinating about this detail is that for a lot of students, the mess is identified as the only complaint in their otherwise glowing reviews of the campus. The institution is getting high marks across the board, but the dining hall is singled out as the one area lacking exceptionalism. That recurring thread makes it a highly credible observation. Section 3. Untangling the fee structure and dealing with the financial ambiguity. Okay, so the independent data reveals wildly inconsistent fee structures. When you pull together public information, you just do not get one clean number. Source A cites yearly figures based on diet. Source B breaks it down to a standalone monthly charge of up to 5,500 rupees. Then Source C lumps the whole shebang, the mess and the hostel fees together, add up to 1.26 lakh per year. This massive disparity likely reflects different academic years, shifting administrative policies, or maybe even different campus locations. If we zoom in on that first source's yearly data, there is a clear 11,000 rupee financial distinction between the vegetarian and non-vegetarian dining options. This is a super fascinating operational detail. It shows that the university actively accounts for the higher cost of non-vegetarian ingredients and passes that exact cost difference along to the specific students who choose that menu rather than just socializing the cost across the entire student body. Because these aggregated numbers don't cleanly reconcile, the absolute main takeaway here is caution. You must always verify the exact current year costs directly with RRU's official documents. When dealing with university logistics, never rely purely on internet aggregates for your budget.
Section 4, the four-meal reality, stepping into the daily grind.
Think about this demanding operational structure: breakfast, lunch, afternoon snacks, and dinner. Factoring in a multi-cuisine menu for 800 people, the rapid turnaround required between these 4 daily windows is staggering. The kitchen staff has barely finished scrubbing down the breakfast pans before they are prepping lunch. It puts that average taste into context. They are clearly prioritizing steady, hygienic volume over flair. But here is where the aggregated public information kinda hits a brick wall. It absolutely cannot give us the specific dish-by-dish daily breakdown. We know the structure exists, we know there's a veg and non-veg split, but what are the actual standout dishes? How does that weekly quality check hold up on a random Tuesday morning? Broad reviews only give us a blur. They don't give us a high-definition picture. Which brings us to Section 5, the final verdict, and the missing piece. To summarize our rigorous investigation, the baseline is a mixed to positive picture of genuinely hygienic, large-scale catering. They successfully serve 4 meals a day to a massive student body. The trade-off is a conscious compromise on taste for the sake of scale and nutrition, alongside those highly confusing fee structures that absolutely require direct official verification. So the crucial point here is that while we can use all this data to set reliable baseline expectations, there is a hard limit to what the internet can tell us. To go beyond the data, you really need to see an actual weekly menu walkthrough. Only a real student with a tray in hand documenting the real dishes on real days can verify the daily menu experience and bridge that gap between good and average. I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought to ponder. Next time you try to evaluate human, institutional care through numbers and online reviews alone. Data gives us the logistics, but it can never really give us the flavor. Stay curious, always verify your sources, and I challenge you to look beyond the surface level of the next review you read.